We met in high school, in art class. I was the only guy in an all-girls boarding school. Don't ask how
He loves that
Don't
line.
ask how I pulled it off.
We started actually dating in second year.
I decided at that point in time, she's the one I'm going to marry in future. And I told her, don't ask when, how, where. The time doesn't matter. But I don't want to be pushed and under pressure. But I'm proposing and I'm saying from this day on, I'm engaged to you. I'm in second year. I know you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but you'll understand later. So I decided at that point in time, and we went out for 6 more years.
So by the time I came home and announced, I was very tense. I was very afraid that they would have problems or they'd have issues. Growing up, my dad is very Kikuyu growing up, and I was afraid that he might not accept or whatever it is. But I was very pleasantly surprised that he said, if that is your decision, we are backing you. The issue of me going to the lake was discussed, but I am eternally grateful to my parents because when they believed in my decision and they believed that I knew that I knew what marriage was and getting married to Fred was, and they backed me from the beginning.
I married my buddy, not a tribe. You know, that makes a difference, I think. If you're going to look for a tribe, then go and look for a tribe. But you're not looking for a wife, right? You're not looking for a wife. I mean, in that context. Fortunately for me, I think both my folks are from town here. They're from the city. They're switched on, so they didn't have much of an issue.
One of the things I did for my wedding is I prayed to God. I had an April wedding, but I prayed to God that it wouldn't rain. But the clouds opened up, the skies, it rained cats and dogs on my wedding day. It was incredible. I mean, how can you pray so earnestly? And I'm a Christian. How can I pray so earnestly that it doesn't rain? And it rains. And not only does it rain, but it was a freakish kind of rain. You know how they lay the kangas out, and then now you walk outside, and then Auntie so-and-so is called to pray. And I was filled with emotions. Until today, I have no idea. But I cried, and my mom was holding me at the time when I was crying. And I was shaking. And she was so puzzled, because she was, our wedding was, how do I say? It was different, because I was marrying from over there in the lakeside. So it was very confusing for her. It was also confusing for me because I didn't know where all those emotions were coming from because I was really shaking. So that was something that I was thinking about. The thing that I must tell you about my wedding is that we had Freddie here had borrowed with those days you had to borrow cars. So he had borrowed a sleek navy blue Merc. Yeah, my colors, I didn't have really colors, but it was into the purples. So blue was the color. And I think he had 2 options of blue Mercs. So you see, as the bride, you're waiting for your Merc to come and get you. It had to come all the way to Xerian to get me, right? What came was not the blue Merc. It was a shocking red rickety Merc. I could not believe it. It was not the car that we had. And there were no cell phones at the time. At least we didn't have cell phones. So there was no opportunity to understand what happened. Of course, he had so much drama where he had tried to borrow the car from CG, that whole drama. But you see, the car comes and you have no choice in the matter. And you have to get into this red Merc.
Done.
And I remember my friend asking me, why didn't you ask me for my car? Because really, this is not like a bridal car. Anyway, so those are, I mean, we had, little nuggets that really were really important to us at the time. I mean, you can't be entering that red Merc, but I did, you know what I mean? That time it was very important that we were to have that navy blue slick Merc and not this other Merc. Poor Fred had worked so hard the day before, to get a Merc at least, but at that time that's not what you're thinking. Our budgets were very small. One of the things that we had agreed earlier on is that we're not going to do a fundraising for our wedding. and we're not going to ask a committee to fundraise for us. So we're really tight on budgets. So first of all, hiring the car was not an option. But even if it was not an option that we would have taken because we were absolutely tight on budgets.
I don't think it was more than 140,000. I can't remember.
But it's possible
Maybe like
that it was probably 100 and something.
100 and something. Definitely less than 150.
For sure.
I think sizable or whatever wedding would be what,
300,000.
400,000.
Yeah.
So we went, and we did it on a Friday to cut costs, so that we would get less people come to the wedding. Then you feed fewer people. It rained and we had a full house.
Not only it was overflowing. And it was supposed to be outside. Then we had to when we were in church, we had to shift it into the hall. It was at St. Andrews. So, it didn't work. Lots of people came. Now looking back, we thank God that, it was a wonderful wedding. Lots of people came. And one of the other things that Freddie had said is that because we cannot afford proper food, in terms of, a reception kind of thing, he had insisted that we do bitings for the reception.
Yeah. It's a very good
idea. It was a very practical. It was a practical,
like
but impossible.
Because it was more for us to mingle with our buddies, not sit with a plate.
But that was his idea. But immediately my mom said, "There's no way people are coming from Shags to be given sandwiches and little things." So actually, I must say that one of the miracles I saw is that I had a very small budget for food. I went and talked to a caterer. He did us proud. It was amazing. That was a real nugget of a miracle for us.
First argument on the wedding day. She hated my shoes.
You know how you agree on what you're supposed to wear, right? So I'm in this beautiful white dress with satin white shoes, right? And we didn't have a lineup. I just had my sister was my best mate in purple, and he was supposed to be in a navy blue suit and black shoes. I don't know what got into him. He decided to buy a brown pair of shoes for his wedding. He's wearing a navy blue suit. He hasn't asked me. So when I'm coming down the aisle, I'm seeing he's in brown shoes. So I had to tell him right there. But that was not our argument. That was just like, how can you do this on our wedding day? Our honeymoon, we went around Kenya. Fred was in the office, and he's in the office, and I don't know for what reason they're talking with his colleagues, and then he decided, for whatever reason, to discuss my cooking style or my cooking inabilities. I am not very good in the kitchen, right? So he started talking about, I don't know why. They had a jolly good laugh, and I was there. No, Fred didn't hear the end of it. That really touched a raw nerve. What business does he have discussing my cooking skills or lack thereof with his colleagues in the office? It's none of their business. They need not know that side of me because they were not my friends. It wasn't, it wasn't like we're all friends. Those are his colleagues. They have to look at me with some esteem, right?
Don't tell jokes about her when she's there. But
or even when she's not there. Hello.
It was a good laugh though. I didn't know she would take it that oh wow, this is a serious deal. So I'm like, what? It's a joke. We're just having fun, having a good laugh. But she didn't take it kindly at all. So, any lessons learned? On my side, I don't discuss my wife's cooking at all.
Don't say at all. I've been proved greatly.
We don't discuss food. Period. She's not allowed to serve me food in the kitchen. I do it myself. There might be, why don't you have to eat that? What do you? No. I'll serve myself. Don't worry.
The crazy thing is that every night I'll ask him, "Should I serve you?" And he'll say no.
She asks me every single day.
Every day.
Even last night, I'm like, no, again,
I have to.
She feels
I'm obliged. I have
every
to.
night?
And every night you tell me, no, it's okay, I'll serve myself. And then the next night, Tonight I'll ask him, can I serve you dinner? Have you had dinner? Can I serve you? And he'll say no. And it's just, that's how we roll.
It's a routine I'm used to now.
How long?
More than 10 years, I think.
Yeah. I just know that my mother would not have me sit in the house and not serve my husband dinner if he's not had dinner. She'd be horrified. So let me ask him. We roll. It's okay. You know, I don't feel offended that he doesn't want me to. He doesn't want me to serve him, and hopefully he doesn't get tired that I'm asking him. Or even if he does, he'll deal with it. But in the meantime, it just makes me feel a better wife, that I'm concerned and I'm asking whether I can serve him, because I can. And once in a while I will. So it's pointless, I know, but it's one of those things. Maybe I'll say the advice that has not been very useful. Maybe it's not bad, but it's not been very useful. When I reflect back, I think, that not all marriages need to be hard all the time. There are points, perhaps, that things are a little bit tougher than normal. So when finances are tight, things might be tougher. When the children are coming, things might be difficult or different. Adjustments might be there. But I think that it's not always useful to kind of overemphasize how hard marriage is. So that for me was not bad advice, but it was not, I didn't find that it was useful advice.
For a guy, the hardest thing is we don't do sign language, and we don't read, moods, and we don't, because you won't always be told. So you need to be cool, relax, calm, collected, be patient. Don't lose your temper. Try and read between the lines if there's anything there. Figure it out. And, you live longer.
Being friends has been by far the most important thing in our relationship. In a relationship that then will lead to marriage, I think it is important to start as friends, but really put God in the center of the relationship, in whatever way or form that you can relate or translate that. That has been a really important place to start a relationship.